good evening, wherever you find yourselves in this very creepy world of darkness we live in. Tonight we return to Orlando Ascended, the Mage Menu. Tonight our story takes us to Matlock's, a very nice Italian slash mixed cuisine and bar where the supernatural of all kinds can go and enjoy time of respite without having to worry about other outworldly things and without having to worry about each other. Mr. Damien Wolf has a meeting here with a woman that he has found quite a bit of intrigue for. Our scene now takes us to Damien arriving at Matlock's.
Damien arrives reasonably well dressed. There's even even a shirt and the odd tie hanging around, and he's loitering just in front of the entrance, looking a bit in, looking at the menu, and then he takes a deep breath and enters Matlock's.
You see Bob standing at the door as apparently the main busman. He says, "Ah, Damien, welcome. What can I do for you tonight?"
Um, I was told that if I wanted to meet one Pamela, that I should come here. She wanted to have
Yes.
a talk with me. Sorry I couldn't come earlier, but let's just say I had shit that I had to take care of.
Ah, yes, the lady already reserved a table for you. She's in the back, in the gambling area.
Um, I take it this is your establishment?
It is my establishment.
Um, Fair enough. Are there any specific house rules? I don't think I've ever been here.
Oh,
So,
the same as Alexi's over there at White Wolf.
understood. Understood. Leave each other alone. Don't pull off any questionable shit. And there is a basic amount of security offered. Correct?
Mhm. Oh, yes.
Ah, well, in this case, Damien will open up his leather satchel that he has and hand Bob the bronze axe that he has and sort of goes, well, in that case, I won't need this. If you could take care of that for me until I'm back.
He looks down at your axe and he says, "Damien Wolf, you are under arrest." I'm fucking with you. And he takes the axe from you.
For a moment, Damien looked very worried. Was even starting to slowly move the axe towards the floor. You know, like okay, I'm not here to. But then he just breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, don't scare me like that, man. English isn't my first language.
No, but seriously, you're under arrest. Damien, relax. I'm fucking with you. Just take it chill. Take it easy. He starts guiding.
He yeah, he's just like frozen when he says that. So
She's in the back.
okay. Anyway, sorry. Let's just say entities have been bothering me that I can't really categorize currently. So excuse me if I'm a bit jumpy and weary. Anyway, lead the way.
He leads you into a back room with a couple really nice tables and then a dining table that's in the back. And you see Pam sitting there enjoying what looks like a really, really fancy salad, but there's some kind of sauce that's been poured over it, and you're not entirely sure what it is. And Matlock's like, "I'll leave you two alone."
Thank you. Damien will take a seat, sit down, put his jacket on the back of the chair, and go, hi, you wanted to talk with me.
Ah, yes, Damien, please sit.
Thank you. And he sits down.
So, you're not from around here, are you?
he looks her up and down, not in a mean way, but more like, okay. Correct. I am not from Orlando, nor am I from the USA.
Right. And you're not even from this same timeline.
How do you know that?
Because, Mr. Wolf, you're not the only one who's crossed a few timelines.
Of course, this shouldn't surprise me if I can't be the only exception here. Sorry about that. Fair enough. Okay. Do you happen to have crossed the timeline I originate from?
No, I am not from that timeline. I am from another. But I know what it's like.
Oh, I don't know how to answer that one.
But to be fair, you and I met in that timeline as well. Except it wasn't, of course, you, it was other you. And yeah, you get the idea.
To quote an old acquaintance of mine, when I wore a different name and a different face.
Yes.
Okay. Now the question is, I have already gained some information of one of my past lives, but I would guess that a soul reincarnates several times before ascending, if that even ever happens.
From what I understand, each of us tends to exist in about 150 parallel dimensions. Could be more, could be less. Mostly it tends to be around 150.
Ooh, okay. Okay. He holds his temple a little bit, supporting it. Ooh, okay. I'm still relatively new to the whole multiverse theory and the actual implications this might or might not have for me. But okay, so I have the feeling that how to put it without being rude. As what sort of an entity would you describe yourself? I hope that isn't too gauche.
Oh, let's stop beating around the bush, Damien. I'm fallen.
Fallen angel, I take it.
Yes.
Whatever the...
I am what is known as a fiend.
A fiend. Okay. I take it you guys are different from devils, though, because I have a very bad, nasty track record with devils.
Terran is a devil.
Oh, for the love of...
It's a house of the fallen. There are fiends, devils, etc.
Those are categorizations, subgroups that
Yes.
you... Aha. Does the name Asmodeus say anything to you?
She pauses for a bit. Careful. Every time you speak his name, he gains a little bit of power.
I thought that was one of his wrongly expressed names, but okay, I'll keep that in mind.
I have known him by 6 names. Pick one.
As far as I'm concerned, he's an Assi, which is a German word for an asocial, so I'll go with that.
That's fitting. Very fitting.
Okay.
Nonetheless, Mr. Wolf, I wanted to ask you a favor.
We are getting to the meat of the matter.
No, I don't want to have sex with you. It's more of a matter of.
Damien goes red at that comment, and he's sort of who spoke of. I mean, you.
She kind of seems to ignore it, but then she goes, "No, I need you to kind of help track down a criminal that me and my brother have been working down, and your expertise and whatnot. Plus, that sword of yours is more than enough to take down some nefarious characters."
Coward's Bane. Well, it didn't carry that name probably the last time you saw it.
No, it did not.
Do you know who it used to belong to?
Well, I actually don't, because I've never been to that universe that you were from specifically. But, well, to be fair, I've only been to two, this one and mine. But the one in mine, your sword, was Excalibur.
The one I have was called originally the Sword of the True Knight and used to belong to the Duke of Cornwall, Gorlois, the original one.
So not that far off.
Yeah. So in my version, not Arthur, but somebody closely associated, even if it was to my prior life's chagrin, to say the least. But apparently, the keeper stole it from him back in the day, and back in my neck of the woods, he gave it back. For me, that was only like a month ago, 2 months probably by now. But yeah, for whatever reason, it wasn't destroyed in the Avatar storm where I got sucked up in. So it still works the way it should. And yes, it definitely has saved my lives a few times. But yes, these criminals that you would like me to find for you, and as far as I take it, also liquidate for you.
Pauses for a moment. It's okay. And it's at that point, Damien, you hear just a little faint whisper in your mind. She's not telling you everything.
Just for like a second, Damien's eyes don't focus on Pam anymore, but sort of flick towards the right, as if he had noticed something, and then back to her. Well, I've got the feeling you're not telling me as much as you should be. If you want my aid, it would behoove you to come clean.
She pauses for a moment. And what precisely am I not coming clean about with? She narrows her eyes.
You're not telling me everything.
Well, of course I'm not telling you everything. No two people ever tell each other everything when they meet each other. It's almost impossible. Unless you have the time sphere. As for what secrets I'm choosing to divulge to you and which I am, that's my business. But I'm curious, how exactly would you figure that, Mr. Wolf?
Whispers.
Whispers from who?
From an unknown source.
So you're willing to take an unknown source's advice just like that?
Not necessarily.
She pauses. Waits for a moment, leans back. Tell me, Damien, have you experienced any issues with your sword? I mean your sword, not your dick.
You know what's hilarious? That I even didn't think of that innuendo, because when I talk about my dick, I talk about my penis. My sword is my sword, and that's that. It has saved my skin a few times, so I will not call it my dick.
She snickers and laughs out loud. I'm sorry, I'm immature. A couple 100 years will do that to you.
But issues with my sword. Well, there was this one piece of entropy that was sticking to it that wasn't there before. I removed it and threw it in the fire. But the sword itself, as far as I know, as far as I've been able to observe, still seems to be in perfect functioning order.
Can I see it? God, saying that in Orlando is such an innuendo nowadays.
Damien wants to use the rote Tears Truth. Just to see if what she has told him so far is true.
Is this a rote that affects the mind, or is this only entropy?
Wait a sec. I've got it noted up right here. Come on, you've done. There we go. Okay. Okay. No, that's live. That's prime. Is it Tears True? No, it's an entropy one, life one, mind one. So the mind one would give it away.
Right.
Nah, it's fine.
So,
it's
well, no,
fine.
it's demons have a natural resistance to it. So that means if you wanted to roll it, you could, but she would get some ability to stop it.
No, Damien thinks about it, but decides not to. And he goes to the side, his satchel. Under the satchel, there is something that looks like a black woolen blanket that is actually covering the sword itself. And he unbuckles two straps, slowly puts it on the table, and he just says, "It's in there." And he looks around. Do you really think it's such a smart idea for me to pack it out right here, there and then? And I know how that sounded, but I'm talking about the sword.
Yes, she chuckles a bit. Bob will understand. You also didn't need to give him your axe, and she pulls aside her leather jacket, and she shows you a Glock 19, and she just puts her jacket back, and she's like, "Violence isn't allowed here anyway."
Yeah. Good to know for next time. Anyway, and he will slowly unroll the cloak until Coward's Bane comes in view.
The blade,
yes,
the blade is now 1/4 pure black.
As soon as he unrolls and sees that, Damien just lifts his hands away. Okay, it wasn't like that before.
Ham kind of
This is new.
squints at it a bit.
And he gestures to the 1/3 black.
She takes the blade by the hilt, looks at it a bit. She seems to pause for a moment, and then she just stares kind of blankly into space, kind of at the table. Eyes kind of squint a little bit. Why did the sword just try to possess me?
That is new. That is definitely new. I never heard a voice out of the sword or... Oh. Oh, wait. It would seem logical that it got tainted when I slew the heart of the haunted house.
Ah. So, that's what happened.
Yes, and of course there were others, and we were fighting the servants of the house, and yeah, I just happened to have a clean shot at the boiler itself
I
and
see.
the heart.
She looks at your sword and she says, Billy, you clever son of a bitch. Well, Billy's in your sword now, so shouldn't be a problem. Just don't let anyone else touch the sword.
Okay, and who is this entity that is possessing my sword?
You remember the big butler fellow with the porcelain doll mask?
Yes.
His name is Billy.
Okay, and how... I guess he's not very happy about what I did recently. Damien smiles nervously.
He is indifferent, it seems.
That's good, I guess.
Consider for your sake, it is a good idea. But, nonetheless, one of these nights I may call on you to go on a little bit of a hunting expedition. Are you with me on this?
Hunting what? I need a little bit more information. I mean, with all due respect, as gorgeous as you look like, as you look, I'm not in the habit of just following... Well, with all due respect, I can't remember that we've ever met before, so to me, at least currently, you're basically a stranger. And I don't have a habit of just following strangers.
You remember the Illithids things that you fought at the house, yes?
So that's how they were called. Yes.
Hunting the one who made those. He is a mage like yourself, which is why I've asked for your help. And he has proven to be... Well, let me go ahead and come clean. Me and Taryn are... Well, I am. He's not, but I'm a bounty hunter of sorts. And this thing broke out of a prison that me and my brother put him in, and we're trying to track him down and kill him. For good this time, now that I have a way to. But he is the one responsible for making those things. I believe you mages call them Nefandi.
Yes. Descending mages, yes. I remember an acquaintance of mine had the bad luck of, while performing some wild magic, having his avatar inverted, and then he just started descending. It was just bad news all around. Yes. Agents of pure destruction. Yes.
Indeed. And it is my job to go about and to find the paths that connect to those who have broken certain rules.
Mm. Hmm.
And she gives a brief description on him, and the guy sounds like the guy actually sounds a lot like the Nihilist guy you fought in the house. The guy with the robes and mask.
Yeah. Once Pam is done with her description, Damien will lift his hand to stop her and say, "Okay, interesting. This guy that you're describing, he seemed like the Nefandi that we fought in the haunted house. He was in the ballroom and he was creating those weird zombies. Actually, as fate would have it, I also managed to do a beeline to him and I, yeah, well, I killed him. I plunged a
Right.
sword into him, made him explode. I remember picking the viscera out of my coat, yes.
Yes, he exploded when you killed him.
Yes, into terrible,
Right.
gory bits.
That means
And
he was a
Damien's
that.
right hand slightly shakes as he talks about it. Damien realizes it, claps his other hand on it, and moves it out of sight.
She squints at your other hand for a fraction of a second, but then she looks back up at you. She says, that explains it. That was a clone you fought. He,
Ah,
enjoy- he enjoys
motherfucker.
he enjoys doing that. He specializes in life, mind, and spirit.
Life, mind, and spirit. Okay. Life, understandable. Mind, if you want to, and it, yeah. Spirit. Is he in the habit of creating small spiders or like tiny shadows that he implants in people?
She thinks for a moment. I have not heard him doing that, but it's always possible.
Fair enough. I only ask because a few weeks back, one of the ecstatics pulled some weird shadow Black Widow spider out of my pattern, out of my body.
You
Apparently
know,
was nested in my brain. So
that's
I
bad
was
for your
just
health.
thinking. Hmm?
That's bad for your health.
Oh, absolutely. I was glad to have the fucking critter out of me. Although it was apparently some sort of spirit entity, if I heard that correctly. But yes, being a mage is bad for your health.
She chuckles a bit.
And he subconsciously put his right hand up again, and it's gently shaking, and he goes, "Sorry."
What happened to the hand?
Do you know what problem we mages sometimes can have with paradox?
I have witnessed it.
Okay, let's just say once we were finished slaying the haunted house, we had gained some paradox because we had to heal some pretty nasty wounds and stuff like that. And I think I was one of the folks who had gathered a good handful of it. And recently, when I was camping, uh, out of nowhere, a paradox backlash, or at least I think that's what they call it, happened to me. But the weird thing was, I wasn't using any magic. It wasn't as if I was trying to cast a spell and it blew up in my face. But and he comes in a bit closer. Have you ever watched the Evil Dead movie?
Say no more. Say no more.
The scene with the house and the laughing deer and all of
Yes.
that happened to
Yes.
me.
Kinky.
King? What? No, there was no tree rape.
She pauses for a moment and blinks, and she's like, "Oh yeah, the laughing scene. I remember now."
The laughing, the taxidermic deers that start laughing, and a flood of blood, guts, and gore, and shit like that.
It's at this point someone else starts to walk into the room. You see this man walk up to Pam, and he says, "Hey, Pam, do you have that package?" "Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, here it is." She hands him a little parcel. She's like, "Did you get it done?" "What? Of course I got it done. Who do you think I am?" And then he turns and he sees you and he pauses.
Good day. Don't worry. My name is Wolf, and I know of nothing. He smiles.
He looks back at Pam and then he looks at you and he's like, uh, pauses, seems to think for a moment, then he smiles. And he's like, "Thanks for the help earlier." And he just leaves the room. Pam looks to him and then looks to you. He's like, "Wait,
Damien turns around and has a confused expression on his face. Help
how do you know?
him?
How do you know Eric?"
I until you just told me like 1-2 seconds ago, I didn't even know that that man was called Eric. I've never seen the guy. What the hell was he going on about?
"Well, Taryn made him something and I was delivering it. But, well, I mean, if you,
Don't worry, don't worry. But how? No, on my honor, I don't know who that man is.
but apparently he knows you."
That um. Whew, keep calm,
She
Damien.
pulls out her cell phone. She pulls out her cell phone, dials. "Eric, get your big butt back in here. The man is going crazy." 5 minutes pass. Eric comes back in. "Yeah, Pam? Okay, look, how do you know this guy?"
Yes, how do you know me?
Eric looks at Pam and he's like, "Is he on the level?" "Yes, he's on the level. Just tell him how you know him and what he helped you with." Ah, well, it's a bit embarrassing. But, well, Mr. Damien Wolf,
Doctor, technically, but please continue.
I appreciate the service and aid you gave me a few nights ago. During the rainstorm. The wallow, the technocracy, I think they're called.
Ah, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Um, you're one of those shapeshifters, aren't you?
Guilty.
You were the blooming big Cayman, who, for whatever reason, was able to produce like sunlight out of your uh, snout. I hope that's the proper terminology.
Yes, that's about right.
Well, in okay. He stands up, offers his hand. Dr. Damien Wolf, at your service, and it was a pleasure helping you, even though I have to admit I was there to aid my fellow mage, as unthankful as he was for it.
Eric Lafont, one who holds legends in his hand. Pleasure to meet you.
Is that your deed name?
Smiles a bit. Maybe.
Don't worry, you don't have to confirm that, but let's just say I fought side by side with some guru, and I've got great respect for the werebeasts.
Yeah, quite a bit's been happening with the fellow kin over here in Orlando recently. Although it seems they've actually gotten themselves into a much more calmer situation now.
Glad to hear that with all the rage they tend to build up.
Hey, we have rage too. We're just not as ragey.
I have to say, I saw the work you did with those fellows. I've got great respect for your lineage. I mean, after all, your species has been on this earth way longer than most mammals.
Mm, agreed. And no,
So,
I'm not. And no, I'm not going to turn into a dinosaur. All of my fellow brothers ask me that, and no, I'm not going to do that.
uh, I didn't. I mean, I know that the crocodilians fall under the category archosaurs, which also included the dinosaurs, but I didn't expect you to be a were dinosaur.
He laughs a bit. It's like, it's okay. You should see Pam's true form. Eric? He's like, oh,
Uh,
what? It's not that bad looking.
Anyway, thank you very much. In that case, you are welcome. And
He 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 uses a rage action to move extremely fast, but he'll lean in close to your ear. He's like, it's okay. She turns into a succubus. Shakes your hand and then walks off.
uh, um, safe travels upon Gaia's surface, Damien says as
Yep.
he waves
As
him away.
as he as he leaves the room, and he says, "May the sunlight ever guide and illuminate your path."
Thank you. And
What?
and and Damien sits down again. Okay. Now, yes, I did
She's
come. Yes.
she's looking at you with very narrow eyes. What did he just say to you? He used a gift, one of his gifts. I couldn't hear what you were saying. What did he say? I hate it when he does that to me. He knows it pisses me off. Old friend of mine.
Hmm.
Very, very old friend of mine. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
pushing.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think
So,
I think he's pushing on the years.
well, might be that reptile blood of his. They can get quite old if they want to, under the right circumstances.
No kidding.
Anyway, to answer your question, since well, since yes, you already put it so nicely, and to be fair, my luck with women is anyway horrendous. So I think I've basically given up at this point. He told me that your true form was that of a succubus. He says very quietly to her.
Uh-huh. Well, to be fair, I do not. I'm a fiend, not one of the. My brother is more the one that deals with the earthly desires. I am merely one who finds the paths.
To what? Let me guess. You're not allowed to tell me anyway. So
Probably not.
fair enough. Not all
She
of wisdom
takes
brings joy.
and right in front of her, she takes her apocalypse form. Uh,
And okay,
she sprouts bat-like wings. There is a slight angelic glow about her. She looks very much like a Dungeons and Dragons version of a succubus. She is wearing a um, kind of a nice leather, like her leather jacket is still there, but it's like her clothes are basically the same. Her skin has turned a slight blue. Her eyes are a flat base red. She has two horns coming out vertically from her head. And she has gotten some interesting looking tattoos that have now scrawled on her. That you can see on her hands anyway. And she also has a small bit of disruption around her. Like, you know how when you look at someone and you look past them, some things tend to get blurred?
Yes.
When you look at her, almost everything around her, with exception of her features, is blurred.
Damien
She's like,
just takes a deep breath, opens his eyes again,
oh, and
and
her appearance shifts to 5.
yes, and uh, whatever primal instinct might be trying to drive him, Damien will be burning a willpower, attempting to basically go like, no, big head in charge here.
Yeah, actually, I think that's something you need to do anyway. Yes, spend a willpower, please. Yeah.
Okay, spend a willpower, and what do I have to roll?
Just you can just spend a willpower to not.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I almost threw up there. You spend a willpower to basically not become what's called entranced. So
Yeah. Spends a willpower not to become entranced. Plus, underneath his clothing, he is wearing the necklace. So if that gives him any bonuses or
yep,
help,
yeah,
let me know.
you'll be fine. So
Okay.
she turns it off after a moment. Then she says, "See, wasn't so bad. I am not well. I don't know why my apocalypse form looks like that. Honestly." She turns a little bit red, but she's like, probably a prank by Terran. We're supposed to take on our forms in there are certain traits and whatnot.
Hmm. Let me just say, it was a very impressive form, and would I have to face that in anger, I would have pissed and shit myself, most likely. I have to say, though, those tattoos, baller. Absolutely
Oh,
wicked.
why? Thank you.
And don't get me wrong, you were still quite the apparition. But I try to look past that when it comes to individuals. For
She'll
me, it's
stand up. Yep, she'll stand up and come over and she'll be like, "Well, Damien, I look forward to working with you in the future. I'll give you a call when I need of you."
hmm. Ah, yeah, of course. Because of the
She as you stand up to shake her hand, she'll shake your hand and then she starts adjusting your shirt and tie. And she's like, "Ah, there. Much better." As it's straightened out and whatnot. Taps your shoulder and she winks at you and she's like, "See you around." And then leaves.
bye bye, and he just looks after her and just shaking his head a bit, not quite knowing what to make of this. But he'll probably sit down, order a beer, have a beer, and then after that leave the building.
All right, you sit down, you have a beer, and hold on a moment. So, hey, Damien, as he hands you the beer,
Cheers, Bob.
cheers. And as you start drinking it, he's like, "So, did she hit on you?"
No, let's just say I'm in this kind. Just a sec, and he takes a nice deep swig of the beer and just I've missed you, buddy. Nope. If she did, she wasn't able to break through my mental barriers. He smiles. But damn, whew, that was an apparition, I tell ya.
I think she likes you.
I don't know if that's a good thing. He chuckles, taking
He's
another
like,
swig.
he's like, take it from me. I've been married for 300 years. It's both a good and a bad thing.
You know what? I'll drink to that because that's a darn ass long time to be married and still being together.
Indeed.
To you.
Oh, yeah, you actually know my daughter. My daughter's name is Jess. She's the one who watches after your Jesse, I think his name is.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Absolutely charming. Yeah,
He sits down and shares a beer with you, and that's where we will end the scene.
yeah, and they'll just make idle small talk.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Orlando Ascended. You all have a good night now. See you around.